everybody. Carlos and Zach Hart are here in the studio with another episode of Shift Up, the only show on the internet about the World Cup where we don't have to say that we're back because we never left.
I couldn't say it better myself, man. What a round of games we had, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a little bit behind. Both of us have been out of town for various work things and other stuff we need to attend to, but it's good to be back and it's good to watch some phenomenal games. And right now we are waist deep in the round of 16 and we need to talk about it. So, what do you want to talk about first? What stands out to you?
I think we shed light on the win from the Terminator, the Viking himself, Erling Haaland. What a performance.
Yeah, nobody expected Norway to be this strong, especially early on, but they're carrying it into the knockouts, and that's crazy.
Absolutely. I think that this is a good team. I mean, obviously, beating a side as capable as Brazil is, I was surprised just off of the way that Norway was able to manage the game, especially in the midfield. It wasn't just, hit the ball to Holland, but there were moments where they had a lot of combination plays and possession, and I love to see it.
What do you think went wrong for Brazil?
Well, honestly, I Brazil had chances and they weren't able to put any away. I don't think that it was too much of an individual performance problem. It was just more of as the team, it just didn't seem like they had a specific plan to kind of counter the way that Norway was playing and the way Norway was pressing. And I also don't think that Brazil in their press was very good at all.
Yeah, one thing I was kind of saying to you as we were watching the game, but I felt like there was a lot of pressure on Vinicius Jr. especially to be creative, and there wasn't any meaningful continuation of the space that he was creating and the chances that he was creating. And of course the finishing was not great either. I know that I don't want to pick on Endrick, but you know the joke that's been going around that Ancelotti will literally do anything else than start Endrick. But I mean, one on one with the keeper and you shoot the ball that wide. I mean, that's there's obviously a lot of pressure on you, but it's hard when you really need to perform when your country needs you most. And Vinicius Jr. is doing a lot of heavy lifting, but the finishing just isn't there. So it's definitely hard on him. And yeah, the creation and everything that their buildup was good, but the finishing wasn't there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, nobody's perfect, and we don't expect, everyone on that Brazil team or Norway team to be completely, perfect. But chances like that are seldom to come by, especially in a very tight game like that. I don't
Mhm.
recall the amount of shots or, big chances created that either team had, but you don't get many opportunities like that to score. And so those need to be put away without a doubt.
Especially when you get a chance like Bruno G at the spot.
Yeah. I mean, mm, obviously not the best penalty. I mean, the keeper dove the right way. Keeper made the save. I mean, props to him. But I would say that it wasn't in the corner. I don't think it was a very good penalty to begin with. I granted Ancelotti had said that he was the best penalty taker on the field, and that might be true. Yeah. But then again, that's another chance that you got to put away. So
Yeah, I don't know where I saw this statistic, but I believe that Vinicius Jr.'s penalty conversion rate for Madrid is it's high, but it's lower than the average for a player of his caliber. And that's probably why they went with that decision, as you were saying that Bruno G may have just been Ancelotti's number one. But I feel like for a player that's on such a hot streak, he may as well have taken it. I feel like it probably could have gone in. Do you think they waited too long to sub on Neymar?
I think so. I think they really needed they really needed a change and they needed something different. I don't know if Neymar didn't put in the greatest shift ever. He didn't have a whole ton of minutes, but he was everywhere. And that was what I had taken away from his performance is he was in the defensive line, in the midfield, and he was up top making runs. And you could just tell that he wanted it, you know? He didn't bring a whole ton of energy, but he was all around the field. And I think that's a perfect sub. I mean, you want someone who's gonna, bring a little bit of life, but not only bring life to the game, but bring a different style or a different play style so that Norway has to worry about it, if that makes sense.
Well, thanks for everything, Neymar. It's been
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, man. That's my inspiration right there. So it was good to see him play and get a goal. So
Do you think Norway's keeper let him score?
nah, I don't know. Those penalties are very, very interesting. But then again, I mean, Neymar's one of the best penalty takers in the world.
Let's move on to France and Paraguay.
You can kick us off with that one. What'd you think?
There are easier ways to hurt your eyes than to watch Paraguay play.
Man.
Yeah, I unfortunately missed when they knocked out Germany because I was working. And well, I wasn't sure what the tactic was going to be when I saw them play against France. But that's kind of the talk of the town. It was a very weird style of play. Like they had less than 20 passes in France's half or France's final third. And they played very deep and it worked because they shut down France's decision makers and strikers. It was really hard for them to break through.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's, the best way they could have approached the game. I mean, France has the best attack in the tournament. So I think that's the way you have to do it. You cannot let that team get a counterattack. Like, hands down. Again, 1-0. I mean, France were the better team. Not that, Paraguay played like absolutely terrible, but I just don't really know if there was much that they could really do.
Yeah, I see where that's coming from. I know that France is not the fast team. Like that's not all there is to them, but really being able to lock down a team like that and to not allow them to use the speed in their attacking toolkit, that is really going to help you keep the ball out of your net.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So yeah, I mean, again, I don't think anyone thought France was going to lose that game,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, props to the teams that have to play against France, and they tried their best. I guess there's not really much you can do against them. Okay, so do you think Mexico could have pulled off the win?
Not the way they were playing, because when you look at the last 20 to 30 minutes of the game, it was very clear that they were just doing the insanity thing, doing the same thing over and over, hoping that it works. And it's unfortunate because I was really not expecting Mexico to bring intensity to the game for the full 90 minutes because even though they did nothing but spam crosses in those last 20 minutes, every single play had me on the edge of my seat because that's just the intensity that they brought to the game. Like anything could be a goal, anything could turn into a goal. I definitely think it was winnable because only based on the fact that England was very disadvantaged, being down a man after a red card in the first half, right? And as well as them just going kind of bar for bar with them on goals. But unfortunately, I mean, 97-second brace and a Harry Kane goal. I mean, that's really a big challenge to overcome. It sucks that they lost at home, but I do definitely think it was winnable had they approached it differently because England was just defending the crosses too well.
Yeah, of course. We kind of made the same observation. I mean, we watched the game together. But yeah, definitely a lot of just, doing the same thing and kind of just hoping it works. And not that they didn't get on the back of some of those crosses, right?
Hmm.
But I will say Pickford had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
He did really well. But yeah, just defensively, England knew what they wanted to do, and it reminded me a lot of how Arsenal played against PSG when it was the latter half of the second half. It was more of like, okay, like we can't let them score. Like it was one of those, and England they were out at every single ball that kind of got within maybe 30 yards. They were already there, and then they had about maybe six people just in the box. So they knew what they were doing, and I think they played well defensively. Honestly, thinking about it now, I feel like Mexico's subs, they kind of ruined the game a little bit for them. I feel like the way they were approaching the game in the first half, especially, and the beginning of the second half, they were playing pretty good. And obviously, England was winning, and when they're winning, they're gonna drop back. Obviously, 10 men, but at the same time, like there was just a lack of creativity that I really liked in the first half that wasn't as apparent when they made all their subs.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the unfortunate reality. Some teams just have a better squad depth than others, and it really sucks where you don't lose the intensity, but you kind of lose some of the creativity,
Exactly.
and you
That's
kind of have to make those trade-offs.
That's exactly what happened. The intensity didn't necessarily drop; it was just the creativity. And that's
Mm.
perfect. Yeah, but yeah, I think Mexico. I mean, they tried their best. They had a lot of possession in that last 25 minutes, and they were really trying their best. But yeah, I mean, England's a phenomenal team. Obviously, Jude Bellingham hustled the entire game, and yeah, that midfield is a bunch of people that can just run forever.
Yeah. Find yourself friends that love you as much as Declan Rice loves cardio.
Crazy. Yeah.
So we actually just finished watching two big games, Portugal and Spain and United States and Belgium.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about the most recent one. We just watched Belgium kind of just coast their way through against the US. Yeah, I mean, what do you think about that performance?
I think that the US kind of got exposed defensively, and it honestly makes Belgium look a little bit better than they are. I think the US still tried their hardest. It was just some really, really just unfortunate mistakes that they made in that final third that led to almost all of those goals happening. It was just defensive errors and just the better, I guess, tactical minds of the Belgian players. But yeah, it's really sad to see us, the US, go out that way. But I'm proud of them for making it this far into the tournament. And I guess we'll see them in another four.
Yeah, you're right. They definitely tried their best. There's no doubt about that. They hustled to the very end. Honestly, you could even see it in the way that Belgium was kind of able to control the game a little bit, especially in the midfield. I kind of want to point out Trossard. He pretty much controlled the way that team played, at least in the latter half of the first half and beginning of the second half. Very influential player, and the subs they brought on, brought more intensity. Jeremy Doku brought in a lot more intensity. Drew like 5 fouls as soon as he got in. So it's like the team obviously has a lot of different ways that they would like to play. But yeah, I think you're right, and defensive mistakes are irreversible, and it's just a shame, really, when that happens. But I mean, Belgium did capitalize on it. So, there are kind of two sides to it. You make a mistake, but I mean, the team has got to be able to score off of the mistake, and recognize it. So, yeah, props to US, props to Belgium, but I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, as much as the US kind of went out on a limp note, it's definitely not as much of a letdown as that Portugal team, bro.
Yeah, man, I couldn't even watch it, man. Like
That was not the team that I described in our first episode. Best midfield in the world, huh?
yeah, nope. Not when they're together, at least. Obviously, Spain lacks that kind of true number nine, And as much as their creativity can be at times on the wing, especially with, Lamine Yamal and, in the midfield with, Pedri and Rodri, they're not going to hammer 6 goals past someone. You know what I mean? Like, they're not that kind of team, at least yet. Maybe they'll turn into that at some point. But we kind of just knew like it wasn't going to be a very high scoring game. But just the way that at least Portugal's midfield and kind of the entire team was playing, I just couldn't wrap my head around how this team can't create anything. It was kind of sad to see it.
It was frustrating me to watch both sides, honestly, not create as much as I thought they could. And the way that Spain finally broke the deadlock, I feel like they could have scored that goal at least 3 or 4 times before that point.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't even know if I can think of a standout player from that game.
I don't I don't think so either, man, to be honest. But I don't know. I mean, both sides are pretty even, and we knew it was going to be a tough game for both teams. But it's just a shame we didn't see anything that was like noteworthy, if that makes sense. Like, you have, just for instance, like you could even go to like Argentina, Netherlands in the last World Cup, Argentina, France, or you have like, even just like England, Mexico, what we were just talking about. Like, you have games where it's just constant creativity and making goals. Even a lot of them might even be individual, just moments of brilliance. But I just can't really say I saw any of that.
I agree. I know Spain has to face Belgium next, actually. So I hope that there's more creativity in that game. I mean, I think that Spain is still going to be the better team on paper, but I wouldn't be surprised if Belgium, at least on the surface, seems to put up more of a fight than Portugal did. But yeah, that was just, yeah, another just sad way to leave the tournament. It's like, I don't, they're definitely fighting for it, but I don't know, you don't see the hunger, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And it was even in the second half. Like, I didn't see that. Second half is where it's crunch time. You only got 45 more minutes.
Mhm.
And so I'm just there watching. But I mean, then again, they still played the best that they thought that they could play, and it's not up to me to decide how a team should play. So I know that they had a plan going into this, and they I know they tried their best. Do you think the game could have been like influenced any other way by any subs that could have been brought in?
You already know what I'm about to say. Ronaldo, bro. I don't understand what Roberto Martinez was trying to get out of him, but he was kind of doing the same thing at points in the last game where he would kind of go into Rafael Leao's area and kind of mess up his runs. And I was just really disappointed in how he was utilized. And of course, in the round of 32 match against Croatia, when he was subbed off, Gonzalo Ramos scored not long after. And I'm not saying like that's the cheat code for Portugal to win, but I mean, I think had he come off earlier or just came in later, things could have been different. Unfortunately, that's just kind of the way things went, and that's his last World Cup game, and it's just is really disappointing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that you're right in talking about how he was being utilized in particular. I don't know exactly what his plan was or what the plan was for him, but yeah, I mean, we've already talked about the Croatia game, but I would say that the runs you were talking about and the kind of positioning, kind of going back to Mexico and how they just kept trying the same thing, that's kind of what it felt like watching Ronaldo. It was the exact same thing every time, and there was no switch up. And that could be for a number of reasons, but we kind of talked about this even in the first episode. Is like, I'd rather see 35 minutes of Ronaldo doing his absolute best than, seeing 80 minutes of Ronaldo and he's just, kind of coasting around a little bit. I'm not trying to downplay him at all. Like, obviously he didn't have the World Cup that he wanted, and a lot of his fans probably wanted, or even what I wanted. I'd love to see Ronaldo, get some bangers, score some goals, but at the same time, like it something wasn't working, and they needed a change if they wanted to win the game.
So the quarterfinals are definitely kind of correcting their course there, don't you think? Like all of the hosts are out, no more representatives from the Americas. We have 2 African teams left, 2 South American teams left, and the other 4 are European, right? Or what am I missing? England, Norway, Switzerland, and Spain and Belgium.
Yeah, it's getting about that time, man. Definitely excited for sure. I think that these matchups coming up are gonna really tell us like who actually cares in a way. We've kind of talked about this before, but knockout stages are one and done. This isn't Champions League where you get another game. This isn't group stage where, you have 3 games. Like this is just you got to put it all out there. And so I can't wait to see what these teams are going to do.
Yeah, well, hopefully this video comes out before Argentina and Egypt kick off. So I hope we have another great weekend of games.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Hey, you're probably looking at our end screen right now. The best way to support us is to like and share the video.
All the support means a lot. Feel free to join the Discord if you want to engage in more conversation.
Or follow us on Instagram.
Or TikTok.
That's true. We do have a TikTok.
Yeah, we'll link it all in the bio. It's all in the Discord. Join up, and we'd love to talk to you guys.
See you in another week.